We buried him 3 times, but he kept coming back. That's how it started. The whispers, the fear, the silence that crawled into our village after sunset. I was 12 when it happened. Our prince, Prince Adigan, was known across the 7 towns, not for kindness but for cruelty. People said his heart was darker than the forest at midnight. He punished people for no reason. If you didn't kneel fast enough, he'd slap you. If your child cried too loud, he'd order them locked in the storehouse overnight. But worst of all, he hated poor people. One day, he did something that sealed his fate. He sent his guards to burn a widow's hut just because her son accidentally spilled palm wine on his sandals. The boy was only 8. They threw the poor child into the fire too. That night, thunder cracked louder than I'd ever heard. The air felt heavy and the sky turned blood red. Even the dogs refused to bark. The widow, they said, didn't die. She crawled out of the fire, her skin blackened, her eyes glowing like coal. No one saw her again after that night. But people began to say a curse had entered the palace. 3 nights later, the prince started screaming in his sleep. Servants said they saw shadows moving in his room, crawling on the walls like lizards. He claimed the widow's child was standing at his window, calling his name. By morning, he was gone. The guards found him sitting by the palace gate, staring at nothing, his mouth dry, muttering, "Greater than she's waiting for me under the ground." Less than they buried him. 2 days later, his coffin appeared in front of the palace gate. No one saw who dug it up. They buried him again, deeper this time. It came back again, same spot, same night. The 3rd time, they called the village elders. The oldest among them said, "His soul is not at peace. His wickedness is too heavy. He will not stay where the earth is clean." So they took his body far away, deep into the cursed forest where even hunters refused to go. There they buried him, with no prayers, no drum, no farewell. We thought it was over. But strange things started happening. Goats refused to eat near the forest. Birds stopped singing on that path. Even the wind sounded different there. One evening, I was sent to fetch firewood with 2 friends. We didn't know we had gone too far until we saw a mound of fresh red soil. On top of it, something was moving slowly, like fingers trying to come out. I froze. Then we heard it, a soft voice, dry and broken. "Don't let them bury me again." We dropped everything and ran. One of my friends fell. When we looked back, we saw a black hand, burnt, thin, grabbing his leg. He screamed and kicked it off. We never went back to that forest again. The elders said the prince walks there at night, searching for the widow and her child. Some say they finally found him. Others say he's still walking, calling names of the people he hurt. But one old woman told us something I never forgot. She said the prince's spirit won't rest until someone builds a house for the poor, feeds a hungry widow, and prays for the child he burned. Only kindness can cover wickedness. And that's why, every year, we go back to that forest. We drop food, water, and light a small lamp. Not for him, but for mercy. Because if the prince taught us anything, it's this. The evil you plant will follow you into the ground, but the good you do will lead you home.